Alrighty. Welcome to episode 644 of the Black Brain Trust, the Sapio-Males Guide to the Galaxy, Beauty. Let's rock out for a minute. We'll get started in just a few. Had to hit y'all with some Gennaro Jarrell, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about beauty. I know, right? Runs juxtaposed to sapiosexualism, I guess, right? Sapiosexualism has to do with, being attracted to attributes related to intelligence, versus beauty is what they say, skin deep, right? So I guess to contextualize the conversation, what is the sapio position on beauty? This actually is a this is an addendum. I don't want to say kinda. It's an addendum to it's an addendum. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There we go. Sorry, that wasn't queued up right. This is actually an addendum to a live stream that I did on my channel on the topic, in terms of how
Wait, hold on 1 second. Just a little loud. A little loud. Hold on. There we go. All right. So it's an addendum to a live stream that I did some time ago on my channel on the same topic, and it's really to kind of dispel the notion or the idea that intelligence and beauty can't be had in the same package, or it can't coexist, right? You one can't, if you're gonna have one, you cannot have the other, basically. This was sort of like the crux of sort of like the discussion that we had with Platinum Elite. Shout out to him. Not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that, I think it was. And I had mentioned on that live stream that I had talked to a friend of mine, and her first response was, "Why can't you have both?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" Right now, in terms of the aspect of beauty, let's take a look, because I did put the definition in the description, or the definition. Yeah, in the description box below. Duh. Yeah, I did put it down there. All right. So the definition of beauty essentially is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. I'm gonna read it again. Give me a second. Beauty is defined as a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. Now, given we're talking the Sapio stuff and all that, let's contextualize that definition for just a second. Intelligently speaking, right? There's an old axiom. They say, more than the eyes can see. We're going to start with that premise, right? More than the eyes can see. Something is more than the eyes can see, right? So if you just kind of embed that notion into your mind, right, that what you're looking at is more than the eyes can see, then guess what you by default won't do? You won't get caught up by beauty. You'll know that what you're looking at, there's either something more to that, or what I'm looking at, that's all there is. Now, you come to the realization, right? Is there more to that than just what my eyes see? Or is what my eyes see simply just that? The question then becomes, are you simply satisfied with what your eyes just see? Or is that unsatisfactory? Do you look at that and you say, looks nice. Yeah, looks nice. Yeah, looks nice. Right? But that's it. That's all it is. It just looks nice. I've seen a lot of things that look nice that you would not want to have. A Ferrari with a busted engine looks nice. Would you like to have it though? Don't think so. Would you like a nice looking brand new iMac computer that doesn't turn on? Looks nice. All right. Yeah, looks nice. So I mean, what are we to do? What are we to say about this notion or this idea of beauty, right? The social media is ablaze with rating systems, right? Rating systems. How do you look? How do you look, right? Beauty. How do you rate yourself, right? And I mean, like I said, I don't know. You can rate yourself 10, I guess, right? But if you literally have the IQ of a gnat, then I guess we have to look at this subjectively, right? If you ask, well, not subjectively, objectively. If you're literally just saying, well, just on beauty standard alone, I guess just on beauty, 10, I suppose. That doesn't mean 10 as in whole person. That's not what that those see these number designations and shit, these scales, right? These ratings, these scales, and all that. It doesn't really, it doesn't give you the whole story, right? It's surface level. Okay, well, surface level. How are you, right? Like I said though, I mean, how does a Ferrari with a shit engine look? I mean, exterior, no scratches, no dents, polished, looks nice. Try turning it on. You can't, but it looks nice. Would you buy it? I mean, it looks nice. Now, am I saying go buy a bucket that runs good? Am I saying the opposite? Because see, if I say what is the value in a Ferrari that doesn't turn on, the average dumbass is going to say, "Oh, so so you just want the Toyota Camry, the 1998 Toyota Camry that's got 250,000 miles on it, but because it's a Toyota, it's just going to run good. So that's what you're good with." No, idiot. No. I want the Ferrari that runs. Makes sense. I want the Ferrari that runs. I want the Ferrari that runs good. I want the Ferrari that I can go and take to the track. Like that's the Ferrari I want. It's not even that I just want a Ferrari that runs. I want one that runs that runs really good. That I can go out to the track, track tuned. I don't know. Really good shit, right? Looks nice. Engine roars like a motherfucker. Yes, I want both. So yeah, the beauty thing, it's just that. It's what it's defined as. But you know, as a smart dude who values a smart chick, I don't mind if she I don't mind if she looks nice. She's a looker. I don't mind. I don't know. I think we need to kind of dispel this notion or idea that because you require intelligence in a woman, that you don't value beauty, or that you don't see virtue in it, or that you are completely indifferent to its appeal. No, that's nonsensical. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you said a Maserati with broken headlights. I mean, how many other analogies we need to throw out here? I mean, it's a trip, dude. Like when you it's like some of the dumbest shit you'll hear from people, right? Like they'll be like, "Oh, well, if you're a sapio, that means you want a book smart chip with." I mean, oh god, damn! It's like, wow, dude, are we that simple minded? I'm like, look, wifey was she was a person who didn't like to show her goodies, but when she did, right? When she did, okay. So some chicks that are a little heady, little Miss Smarty Pants, sometimes they like to keep it subdued. That doesn't mean that they can't show it out, if they really wanted to. There's virtue in that. There's something to appreciate in that shit, right? There's also something to appreciate in, say, natural beauty. The thumbnail that I posted. I need you to take a good look at that sister. Nothing on her nails, right? Nice lips. They ain't plastered with lipstick or nothing. Nothing on her face, nothing on her eyes. Natural. All natural. I'm talking all natural. Laden with gold and shit natural. I mean, beauty manifests in so many different ways, right? Like, it's so subjective that I think that, people have to really kind of reassess and analyze and reassess their beauty standards. So so perfect example, right? Like I remember back in the day, like this was high school and shit. Like there was like a new chick. There was a new chick at school, and like low key, like I'm a quirky dude, right? In case you haven't noticed. So I gotta tell you, man. Sometimes like on some chicks, like freckles do it for me, right? Don't ask me why. So there was like this new chick, and she had freckles, right? And I was like, damn, man. She was like redhead with freckles, man, like on some Pippi Longstock and shit. And I was like, damn, yo. And so me and the homies was like, during like, break time where we was just chilling over by the bricks and shit. And I was like, yo, man, like this is new chick, man. I was saying this new chick in English class, yo. Man, she got, freckles and shit. And I had, a couple homies started snapping on me. Like, nigga, freckles. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I was like, nigga, she a cutie, man. I don't give a fuck. Right? And then lunchtime rolled around, right? And like she comes strolling through, and I was like, "Oh, that's her right there." And they was like, What? I was like, "Yeah, man, y'all tripping on some freckles, dude." You know. So, I mean, that's always kind of been a thing, man. Like, dude, like red hair, freckles, a slight overbite. Don't ask why. I've heard very inappropriate jokes about that, but I don't know, man. It's just something about a chick who like has quirks but owns them, right? And actually uses them as a point of beauty. Like that's dope. That's dope to me, right? So it's very subjective, person to person. But that's the thing. Like I can appreciate little quirks and shit. When I hear about like discussions about like beauty and attractiveness, wherever it comes from, whether it's dealing with men or women, it's so fucking superficial. right? It's just like, oh, I like him 6 feet. Okay, well, what if he was 5'10"? That's too short. And she's like 5'5", right? You know what I mean? And I'm over here sitting there like, yo, I like freckles. You know what I mean? I was talking to a friend of mine, man, earlier today, and like, for as arrogant as I sound, shit, arrogant as I come across as I sound, I would say that an insecurity that I have is my glasses. I hate glasses. I hate them. Right? It's not as if I grew up wearing them. I didn't. Okay. I had to start wearing glasses full time at the age of 18. So it was really at a time where it was inopportune for my sex life or my burgeoning sex life, which probably because of the glasses was delayed somewhat. But there we go. This is why I hate these shits, right? Because there's a perception. Now, I'm not exactly a fashionista either, so don't ask me to get the snazzy frames that do the. I don't know. I'm totally utilitarian with this shit, right? I need them to see. I don't like contacts because I don't like the idea of sticking my fingers in my eye, and I also don't like the idea of having any sort of laser surgery done where there's a laser involved going into my eye. So I'm kind of just stuck with either. Um, there's this Tibetan eye chart um, that I have. It was my wife's. Okay, if I dedicate myself to practicing utilizing this Tibetan eye chart, maybe I can get like regain my eyesight. But until then, I'm stuck with this shit, these glasses, right? And so because of this, I always found that they were a hindrance. You know, so I mean, I guess some chicks dig dudes with glasses, though, right? I always kind of say fuck these things. I want to throw because I tend to like shit like this and cell phones and earphones. I break them a lot, so it's just, to me, it's a hindrance, and I just don't like the fact that my eyes don't work properly. So it's just kind of like a just an insecurity, right? But to someone else, they may like it. Oddly enough, you know what I mean? I just sat up here and rambled for like 3 fucking minutes about why I don't like my glasses, right? Why it's kind of like an insecurity of mine, right? But then there's chicks that'll look at me and then they'll like me, and I have the glasses on. So with the glasses and everything, there's something there, right? So who the fuck am I to argue? Beauty requires an acceptance of oneself. I've had to struggle with this shit. I've had to struggle with it. I think we all have. I think shit. Even when you're listening to the conversations, like in like a lot of the manosphere and stuff, I had a hard time saying that word. I'm trying to hold my tongue. Watch your mouth, Ulysses. So anyway, yeah, what you'll hear is I think you kind of hear a lot of that, right? Like, maybe what people are dealing with oftentimes is a lot of maybe rejection because they haven't accepted themselves. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to put my finger on it, right? Especially when it comes to the beauty discussion, right? Because like I said, if there's an obsession with rating people, right? If there's an obsession, and that's what I mean. If the standard of beauty, given that we come in a myriad of heights, weights, proportions, tones, colors, right? And then there's all the details, right? It could be a myriad of things. But then to like sort of like reduce it down to like a one through 10 scale, I don't know. I think there's a lot being left out, and it's really hard to like gauge beauty when there's a whole lot of components to it by just giving it assigning it a number 1 through 10. You know what I mean? And like I said, if that strictly just has to do with the visual, what you see, right? Then okay, yeah. But they say it's in the eye of the beholder, and I guess the beholder is going to determine what all encompasses what they view as beautiful, right? Maybe there's more than just what they see. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like, all right, this is the subjectivity of it. Okay, we can all, I guess, if we want to agree that beauty is just simply just a 1 through 10 sort of thing, then I suppose, right? Or maybe we can give it more context. Like, take your pick. If you give it more context, I think what starts to happen is that you start to see the beauty in people more often, right? Like you probably start, like your eyes start opening up. You start seeing it more in people, right? Because I don't know, there's something else, there's deeper aspects that are striking at you, versus like you walking around going 2, 3, 7, 6, 5. Oh shit, 8. Okay, yeah, shit, that's a 2. That's that's what you doing all day, just walking around. You know what I'm saying? You know. So I don't know, man. It's def something. I always thought there was a little bit more to it. But like I said, man, there was a reason why like my homies would like kind of knock on me for liking a chick that had like a quirk or two or something, but then they take a second look and they like, you know what, she is kind of cute. I'm like, man, nigga, don't question me, bro. Let me see. Let me check the chat. I'm just ranting here. Hold up. As we spoke about in the past, the dichotomous binary arguments trying to make everything mutually exclusive from each other. And the reality is there's multiple things that can be true at the same time. Yeah, two truths can coexist at the same time, as they say. As they say. As they say. By the way, do you guys hear music in the background? Can you press 1 if you do? I need to make sure like this shit be working. Because I did a live stream, trying to remember which one it was. I went and listened to the playback and I was like, fuck, there's no music. One? Anyone? 0? 8? 1 through 10? Anyone? Did you hear anything? Or 1? Let me check the other screen. Okay, cool deal. All right, sweet. Because yeah, you know, sometimes this shit does or doesn't work, and I'm just like, Like I said, I'm a techie over here, but I'm not a techie at everything. All right. I'm brutally honest about like what my deficiencies are. Okay, and streaming is one of them. Yeah, definitely, man. Not one of my strong suits. Okay, so let me think. I need to go back to my previous live stream. What else did I touch on when it came to beauty? We talked about the nature of it. We talked about the surface level of it. We talked about the definition of it. Now, I think on the last one, I had some quotes that I read about it. Man, you know what? I did a lot of talking today, and I just don't feel like reading quotes. So, unfortunately, I don't have any quotes on beauty, but that's okay, because I think we know what it is, right? I think what we just really want to do is explore it a little bit more in conversation. I don't have to be all textbooky with you guys tonight, do I? Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that shit. All right. So let's see here. I just want to make sure there weren't any other points, because what I'm going to do is it's 30 minutes in. As I typically do, like I said, 30 to 45 minutes, I start running out of gas. And guess what's happening? I'm running out of gas. I also got to run to the restroom. You like that segue? So, did you ever listen to the Jake? I wanted to hear your take. Man, okay, We Kill Dragons. Do me a favor. Put that link in the chat right now. When you put the link in there, I'm going to click it so it comes up on another tab, and then I'm going to listen to it. Because I don't remember which live stream it was that you posted it on, but I remember you did it though. Because I was going to go back and then I was like, shit, which one was it that you posted it on? So I'm glad you put that on there. Can you post that link again, please? I would appreciate you if you did. I shall do appreciate it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So it's going to blow your socks off. Make me now, listen later. I thank you for it. All right. Wait, did you drop it? Let me see here. Let me make sure it's in the chat. Yeah, drop the link, man. Alicia, welcome. You said you hear neo soul tunes. Every time you come here, you're gonna hear some kind of tune, sweetheart. You're gonna hear some neo soul. You're gonna hear some electronic. You're gonna hear some jazz. You're gonna hear some drum and bass. Maybe you're gonna hear all kind of shit. Basically, you know, we're nerds like that. Music ones, I should say. Rael, what's going on, G? Hold on, dude. I'm gonna throw the link down in just a minute. Alicia, you're welcome to join us if you'd like. I'm gonna go to the little boys' room, and then you know how I always do. I usually slip away for a little tokey toke, and then let's chop it up, man, on what this whole beauty thing's about. I'll be right back, y'all. Rock out.
I got gone to it. God take her away from me. Go through it. I got take her away from me. Can't be sure. I got take her away from me. I got take her away from me. Take her away from me. Sure. Gonna take her away from me. You can call me a hypocrite. but I don't care a bit. There she flows. Words are not good enough. Right there she knows. She knows. See how she sways me. I gotta take her away from this. I gotta take her away from this. I gotta take her away from this. Be sure I gotta take her away from this. I gotta take her away. I gotta walk through it. I gotta take her away. Take her. I gotta take her away. Take her away from this. I gotta take her. I gotta go through it. Take her away. Take her away. Take her away. My tears are here just like me. I keep searching for my road. Is it working to console? I keep searching.
Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. Had to take a little break there. Shit. Yeah, so let's see here. Back to the topic at hand. Let's see, what do I got on it? What else I got on it? So I was trying to think. Okay. So let's delve a little bit more sort of into the okay, well, here's what I'll do. Since it's me up here rolling dolo, as a dude, okay, I kind of touched on like the whole sort of kick that I have for like freckles or some shit, right? Red hair, slight little overbite or some shit. But I mean, I'm just saying, I ran into too many chicks that were just cute as hell, man. That had those type of features or attributes, right? But I mean, me, if I'm looking physically, right? Me personally, I'm a slim dude. I'm like 100 and shit. I don't know, 50 pounds maybe. I kind of got, I race a lot of shit. So, I stay active. So I'm slim and I'm, average height. I'm 5'10", right? So I'm nothing to shake a stick at. I'm just like a normal ass dude, right? Now, in terms of my own preferences though, in terms of what strikes as beauty to me, well, let's think about it for a second, right? Okay. The first thing that, let's say, it stands out on me. I've said this in prior live streams. A little loud in my ears, just a little. There we go. All right. So like legs. I'm a legs guy, right? I'm a legs guy, right? Nothing wrong with some nice legs. Okay. Now, nice legs can be on a woman who's shorter or taller, right? I'm look. Tall. I like. Okay, like I said, legs are nice, right? So if she's 5'10" or something, okay, if she doesn't have a problem with me being 5'10", I definitely don't have a problem with her being 5'10". I don't have a problem with a chick who's, I don't know, on the shorter end of the scale too. I don't know, 5'2", something, something around. I don't know. Nice legs. Okay, well, there's no deal breaker there, right? Like either way you slice it. There's, you got slim chicks, slim thick chicks, and thicker chicks. I'm not really a BBW kind of guy. It's kind of a personal thing, but I'm just saying, like, from between slim and thicker, nice legs can be on all those. Okay. Now, one thing I'm not is a colorist. So, okay, dark skin, all the way on down the scale, I'll take it. I kind of like the chocolate. I'll be honest with you now. I do like the chocolate. However, I'm not a hater at the end of the day, right? Because I'm looking at, like, the intelligence, and I'm looking at the intangibles, the intrinsics, all that other shit, right? But that's why I'm like, well, look, there's a whole lot of packages that this come in, right? So it's subjective in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, it's if I was to kind of put them on a color scale, like chicks I've dealt with, okay, they span the spectrum. The one I married was darker than me. Now, my friend told me I was looking. She said I was light skinned. Game Changer told me I was light skinned. A few people have told me I was light skinned. I don't know where they get this shit from. I don't. I don't I'm not sure where they get that from. Do I have to cam up to prove a point? let me see here. So, hair, short, medium, long, as long as it's yours. That's my caveat. As long as it's yours, right? So as long as it's yours, short, medium, long, don't give a shit. Do you look fly? There's that beauty shit. Like, what am I looking at? It does come into play because, yeah, I kind of don't do the hair hat thing. I don't give a shit how smart you are. Yes, beauty does kind of do it. It kind of does factor into this a little bit. It does. Yes, even as a sapiosexual, yeah, I don't do the hair hat thing. That's just a personal thing. But that's cool, right? Because a lot of chicks don't do the slim 5'10" with glasses guy thing. No harm, no foul, right? But I'm just saying, in terms of, as a sapiosexual male, how I view beauty, I'm looking at it as it pertains to just you, and that's it, right? So whatever, like I said, whether your hair is short, medium, or long, okay, it's like, well, how are you rocking it, man? How you, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It's like, some people's standards of beauty have become so social media driven that, like I said, man, it's like, I think the things that, to me, like it's the quirks that stand out. Things like freckles. It's the imperfections. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Oh, like I said, man, the sister I put in the thumbnail, no makeup, none, stunning, very kissable lips. I'm not playing. Go look at the thumbnail. Yeah, there you go, Black. Voice. I like sultry voices. I like a Scarlett Johansson type of voice. You know, I like sultry voices myself. You know, I dig a sultry voice. You know, a Teresa Randall type of voice. Yeah, I like a sultry voice. Yukimi Nagano from whatchamacallit, Little Dragon. Oh my god, her voice is amazing. Yeah. O said, faux locks not included. Like what the, like that. What's that thing that you say? What does it say? Some assembly required or some shit or like yeah. Batteries not included. There you go. Batteries not included. Faux locks not included. Yeah, we gotta put an end to anything else. I mean, I'm just saying, man. You know, part of for me anyway. I'm thinking I needed to kind of hit, you know, like this angle um, on the beauty thing because, you know, on the one hand, it's all this, like I said, it's all this superficial fucking 1 through 10 shit. Then it's the colorism shit. Then it's the swirling shit. Then it's the what's the other one? What's the other one? I can't even recall what the other one is. But oh shit, my battery on my phone just went dead. Damn it. I thought I had it charged up. But the reality of it is that like not, all of those schisms don't take an intelligent approach. Okay, they simply do not take an intelligent approach. So it's like, yeah, man. I don't know, man. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Let me switch it up. Switch it up just a little bit. He was getting too gangster up in here. And it was messing with my thoughts. There we go. All right. Yeah, Teresa Randall, bro. You already know. I'm just saying, man. Oh, dude. Teresa Randall, man. Jeez. That was my one of my teenage crushes right there. Low key. So everyone is picking for other people, no one is picking mates for themselves. Yeah, it's very weird, man. You know, it's like I like what I like. You know what I'm saying? Like I like what I like. You know, and like for me, that could be it could be a lot of different things, man, depending on like who it is that I'm getting to know. Right? Like I can't really make heads or tail of like what I'm looking at until like I get to know who I'm looking at. Right? Then I can better assess like the level of beauty I'm dealing with. Just on the surface, dude, I don't know. I can't rate shit. I mean, me and you was talking about it, bro. And me and you was talking about it one time. And you know, it was just like, you know, you see a chick in the grocery store or something, you know, and you know, ass look nice. You just look and you go, nice, yeah, she got a nice one. And you keep it pushing. It's like I don't know. I can't really make heads or tails of it other than that. What's going on, Ryo?
Peace, bro.
What's good with you?
Oh, nothing, man. Just chilling, man. You know, it's weird, man. I saw this, man, 20 years ago, man, how, well, things are different too. You know, from the 90s era, '80s and '90s era, especially '90s. One thing that was very important was originality. That was something that was highly, um, you know, people, men and women spent a lot of time on having like an original style about themselves.
Right.
Now, especially when you look at women, you got women who would try to do things that they can't pull off. You know, some chicks, they can wear a short, natural hairstyle because it fits them, you know,
Mhm.
like a Jada Pinkett, like when she used to have the natural, like she could pull it off.
Right.
But she had she had the total package, you know what I'm saying? She had the body, she had the each eyes, you know what I'm saying? The boot, everything, you know what I'm saying? So, um, but a lot of times, like, I remember seeing cats who will like a certain style of chick, but um, they might, because dudes do this too. I don't know to what extent, but I've seen dudes do it. Will be physically interested in a chick, but because dudes who it don't even have to be their boys, like if another dude didn't co-sign on a chick, they will act like they wasn't interested in the chick, which is silly to me because I'm like, if that's what you like and she feeling you, like, why would you give up that opportunity? Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just dumb. Like, and so, but also too, people need to understand there's a difference between a preference and a standard.
Right.
My preference is dark skinned chick. You know what I'm saying? I like nice cheekbones. I love those Bambi eyes, nice, nice eyes. That's my thing. Um, Obviously, has, but nice build, just nice, shape or whatever. But as far as preference of a woman, totally like, she has to be a good woman. You know what I'm saying? Like internally, because she can have all the physical attributes that I like, but if she don't have those internal attributes I like, as far as I'm concerned, she ugly to me. So, um, but that's the overall standard, not just from a physically speaking standpoint. That's just a preference. That's just your preference and what you like. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think it's done on both sides of the aisle. I think there are men who have it didn't used to be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it came to your crew, like, if you like what you like, dudes are like, hey man, go for it, man. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, so many of these chicks is carbon copy. Everybody's trying to, go for the same thing, and the originality is lost. That's the one thing that I remember about the '90s. I used to like about black females was their originality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had that style about them. Now it's more cookie cutter, carbon copy type stuff.
Yeah. See, like the sister I got up here, man, like she's rocking the fade, right? But man, like, dude, like, man, her features, bro, like her tone, lips, eyes, nose, cheekbones, like, just goddamn, you know what I mean? Like, I can appreciate. There's the scope is wide open, right? That I can appreciate that. I gotta leave it up to who it is that I encounter, man, and like I gotta see what's behind the mask. You know what I mean? Or get a peek.
Yeah, you see,
You know what
I
I'm
see.
saying?
I'm the type of dude like I like the beauty, man, that intrigues me. I like the beauty that makes me want to search a woman out and explore. You know, um, not just when I see it, like I'm just curious. If a chick is out there with an ass all out and stuff like that, like I pretty much know what she is. Um, but sex appeal is very important to me because to me, what makes you sexy will always make you sexy to me. So I like what you was talking about like earlier, like the imperfections. Like I like a chick, she got a nice smile, and if she has just a slight gap in her teeth that just make her smile pop. Man, I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I love that shit. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you own you own the imperfections, man. It's like
right,
shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's weird, dude. It's like it's so weird how people will just keep pushing to pursue for this Instagram standard or some shit,
right, right.
You
right?
know,
What's up? Hey,
what's
what's going
going
on?
on,
Oh,
everybody? What's going on,
yo,
y'all?
what's the deal, G?
Peace, wacky.
Chilling. Peace, Rye. It's been a minute since we've been on a panel together, Rye.
I know it's been a
Yeah.
minute, man. Happy New Year, bro.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
you too, man. You too. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Me and Rye, we've always been a panel together, but I guess conflicting schedules. I don't know.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
all it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Conflicting schedules. Yeah. But uh. So I was going to add on to something that Rye was saying about there's a difference between having standards and having a preference. Because to add on, uh, you can have a preference. See, people don't understand that just because you have a preference doesn't mean that you're always going to go for a female who fits that preference. A preference means what you prefer or what would you rather pick amongst all other options, but that doesn't mean that all the other options are, shut out. And I'm saying that because I'm looking at people in my personal life. You got, unfortunately, our people, we like to uh, 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 penis police. Excuse my language. Penis police, right? And me, I'm the type. My preference when it comes to the females that I'm preferably attracted to, of course, it's so-called black females, especially of the darker persuasion. That's my preference. But I'm the type of person that I'm open to females of other races and ethnicities. If they have the beauty that I like, if they have the personality, the values, and what, etc., I'll give them a shot.
Yeah.
And when I say that, you have a lot of so-called black people who believe that just because I'm open to that automatically means that I hate black females. I'm like, no, no. I'm just saying that I do have a preference, but at the same time, having a preference doesn't take away from the fact that there are multiple choices to choose from when it comes to the opposite sex. And once again, Complex and Rael, this is
Yeah.
common sense to me. This is common sense to me. This should be, you know, and people, especially our people, they have a hard time realizing that. And in my mind, I'm like, what is there so difficult to understand?
I mean, it's like I said, man. I think what's happening here is that a lot of people have allowed social media to largely dictate, um, like what they or how they are to perceive their reality, right? And it's so pervasive. It's everything, man. It's beauty standards. It's it's the food that you eat. It's the content you consume. It's everything. It's the conversations. It's the comments, the likes, right? The shares, right? It's all that shit, right? That's everybody now. Like their reality is based on what social media feeds into them. It used to be the reverse, dude. People used to be like living life and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and post it, right? Now it's the reverse, dude. You know, COVID is a good, reason for this too. But now it's the reverse. So what it is that most people are now taking in what's on the internet, and then they go out into the real world, right? Because they're only out there for a short amount of time. They're not really doing a whole lot of engagement, because hey, everything's locked down and shit. A lot of the shit is shut down, right? So now it's social media telling everybody everything.
And it goes back to what Rael was saying, in which we live in an era where there is a lack of originality.
Right.
I mean, I remember you guys, you guys remember just as much as I remember how there was a time where if you was not original, just in life in general, if you was not original, he was copying off of somebody, uh, people would diss you and call you a
Well,
biter.
you was
You
biting,
did not
man.
man,
want
that was
to
the
be known
worst
as a
shit, son.
biter.
You was a
I'm
fighter,
still on
man.
that.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
god.
Yeah,
still on that shit, dude.
Yeah, I am
I me
too.
too,
I'm
me
still on
too.
that shit, man. I can't
But
stand biters, dude.
I can't stand them either, and and we live in the generation today, in not just only in dating, but in all aspects of life, how people do not have the ability to think for themselves, or they're too afraid to think for themselves and express themselves in their own original way, to the point of the fact that they just want to follow the rest of society. They want to follow what the mainstream is promoting, and it seems like social media is the new mainstream now. Social
It
media is the
is.
new mainstream, and people just want to follow the trend.
That's why
People just want to be trendy.
Yeah,
Just like
it's become a bubble.
it become a bubble. It's just like right now with this woke movement, right? Now, me and I'm sure both Complex and Rael, I've been socially and politically conscious ever since I was a teenager. So this thing is not a trend to me. So it is nothing trendy. But then when it got popular in social media to be, and there's nothing wrong being woke, quote unquote, or being socially and politically conscious, but there is something wrong with claiming that just to be trendy. But I'm just saying that because it's just another example of how we live in a generation where there is no originality. People just follow the trends.
Isn't that what it's all about? What's trending? Isn't that what it's all about nowadays? Right? I mean, what good? What? How are you going to have anything that trends, right? If everything is original, no one's following. Nothing can go viral. Think about it. Everybody's too busy doing their own shit, being original, for everybody else to give a flying fuck what anyone else is doing.
Right. And let me give an example as far as basketball, the sport of basketball is concerned. I don't want to go too far off topic, but I just want to give an example of how this cookie cutter generation just ruins things, and it ruined the sport of basketball because, if you guys follow, well, I know Complex, you follow basketball.
Yeah.
You follow basketball, especially NBA basketball.
Yep.
In around 2015, 2016, the most popular NBA team was the Golden State Warriors, and the way they played basketball, in which they live and die off of the 3-point shot. And then what happened within the NBA afterwards, you see every other team start to follow the style of the Golden State Warriors and start to live and die off the 3-point shot. Then you even see that in college basketball. And what that did, it ruined it, to me, in my opinion, it sort of ruined the sport of basketball, because what you saw is big men not really being the traditional big men. You didn't see a lot of boxing out in the paint, because since a lot of players shoot the 3-point shot, the rebound would be all the way, in the mid-range area. So to me, it ruined a lot of things within the game of basketball. But that's just an example of how a lack of originality, where everybody just want to follow the trend, just ruin things. And the same thing goes in the world of dating, where the quote-unquote Instagram model or the Instagram look is what everybody likes. And I call the transformer looks, because a lot of these Instagram models, it's hard for me to tell if they're males or females. That's all. So, but it ruined dating because now everybody wants to follow a certain look, the racially ambiguous look, with the whole 10 pounds of makeup. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's the exotical.
Yeah, the quote unquote exotic look. Yeah. And it just ruined, especially within so-called black females and females in color in general, ruins their sense of being original and attractive at the same time.
Right.
I'm sorry for being long-winded. I got the mic.
You're good. I'm just like, I just had, two little samples of chocolate up here, but I'm listening too. I'm just saying, I dig some chocolate. Call me a hater.
Yeah, that's always been my speed. I mean, but again, like you were saying, Mike, the thing that this is a lot of this is kind of like a women's thing, like, and it's weird how women like react, because I mean, I've seen instances where a chick had absolutely no interest in a dude, And as soon as another chick come around and show interest in that dude, then all of a sudden the chick is interested in the dude, not because she wants the dude, but because she just automatically goes into competition mode. Like, well, why he want her instead of me? And it's like, I mean, well, at one point he was interested in you and you shot him down. So what was he supposed to do? Just stay there? You know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
So,
Right.
you know, but overall, because the world has opened up in such a way to where there was only a time where we would just hear from military men about, yo, man, we went over here to Sweden, man, and man, we were gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? We just heard it through a select few of men who were able to travel abroad most of the time through the military. Now, practically anybody can travel. You know what I'm saying? Globally. So now, you know, Cass is coming back with video film. Cass is coming back with pictures and all these different things about different types of women. And so now the competition level is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for women, because now they're really face to face with their competition. So a lot of that, you know, things about beauty as it relates to a lot of these women is really just jealousy because in their mind they feel like they can't compete. But the point is that, you know, beauty, you know, there's enough room for beauty. You know what I'm saying? Which means there's more than enough room for multiple groups of women to be considered beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, it just forced women to have to, you know, compete more than they ever had to compete. I'm talking to a couple chicks in Africa right now, and I mean, these dark skinned honeys, man, is like, I mean, bananas. Like, I mean,
I gotta tell you, man. I'm out here in California, right? So, you know, it's pretty standard issue out here. You know, it's not like a whole like huge concentration of like black folks in like one particular area or anything like that, right? So it's pretty kind of just it's really bland, to be honest with you, for me, right?
okay.
So it's like when I always hear about like the competing and the competition and all that, for me it's always more of a like I'm kind of like a on, you know, outside listening in type of conversation, right? Because you know, California is a big place. You know, like I'm kind of out in like the country area shit where there's like, you know, almond orchards and all this kind of shit out here. So life's a little different out here, right?
Yeah, it's a whole different beast up
Yeah,
there.
it's a whole different thing, right? So, you know, my existence is it doesn't mirror most, right? Especially with me being widowed. You know, add my current existence on top of that, right? It's like really, I'm just like a fly on the fucking wall at this point. You know, I'm listening to everybody else's stuff, but you know, I'm giving really like a lot of like my observations, you know, based on, you know, my own experiences, largely just like as a person who let's just say, dude, like okay, back when I was doing the music shit, and I was like club promoting and shit,
Yeah,
and like
well, I'm glad you said that because, you know, you're from Cali, and I remember when, you know, my first semester in college was at a HBCU in Atlanta, and you know, it's weird to hear, you know, black chicks from Cali, you know what I'm saying, like especially when they're like on Kevin's show complaining and being big and shit, because I'm like, I remember my first semester in college, man, you know, and I remember the shorties from Cali. Man, them black shorties was fine. You know, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I remember my girl Shar, you know, there was a couple other shorties, man, in my dorm, man. And it was just like, man, they had just a whole different aura about them, man. They were so cool, laid back. You know, some of my first roommate, man, actually, man, Craig, he was from Cali, man. He was goofy as hell, but he was mad cool, man. And even when he was showing me the shorties he was getting in Cali, I'm like, damn, son, you want it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And they just had a different, a different vibe about them. You know what I'm saying? Like they just was just mad, cool, laid back. I think some of them shorties, man, throughout the years might have just caught on to this, black female victim type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause I didn't see that, man, when I was in college from shorties, man, that came from out that way. Like they was mad cool. It was fine. Like I remember I had this one shorty. She used to play tennis, man. That, she's from I think she's from LA, man. She was bad, boy. Like all flavors too. All the flavors that I had in my door that was from Cali, man. They was banging. They was banging. And their own way, but they was banging, son. So now it's just this, every I'm a black female, so I'm just a victim just cause now. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that back then when I first went to college.
I mean, that's interesting, man, because like I said, I hear that, I hear that, I hear it mainly on social media, like on YouTube, right?
Right.
Like I don't hear it, like just like out in my reality, like out here in my existence, because I told you where I live, right? So I don't have a lot of, I have a lot of black folks around me and shit. So that's not really something I'm encountering like in my immediate environment, right? But I hear that shit all the time in social media though, right? And then like, my homegirl that I talk to, who she might be listening to this right now, like, she like sometimes we'll have conversations, right? And I'll tell her about some shit going on in social media. Or I remember one time she hit me and she was just like, she hit me with a video, and it was 7 granules, right? It was on Instagram. She sent this to me and she's like, what do you think about this? And I started cracking up. I was like, oh shit, like this nigga done went viral, right? Cause I'm like, my lady friend is even over here sitting like, yo, like, this is some shit. Like, what you think about this, right? And so it's like, outside of that, she's even kind of looking at all this shit kind of sideways, right? And it kind of makes you scratch your head and wonder, like, okay, how many of you people are basically being programmed or living through all of this shit? And how many of you people are objectively viewing or listening to the conversation? Like, which is which?
Well, I think that's part of it. I always tell men, like, you have to see where a woman is in life. Okay, if she's, first of all, I don't care how attractive you are as a woman. Like, every woman knows when that attention that she's used to getting, especially if she's really attractive, she knows when that attention starts to go down. She feels it. Every woman. It usually starts out when they go to the club. Well, let me go back. It even starts before that, especially if they go to college. By sophomore, junior year, they're not the hot thing anymore. So they feel it a little bit there, but then they're out of school. Now they're in the real world, and maybe they can get away with things from 23, 24, 25, 26. But by 27, 28, 29, based on how they're taking care of themselves or not, they can feel that slip come. And then what happens to a lot of these attractive females when they start feeling that attention go down, they try to glom onto the victimhood narrative. Oh, don't nobody want black women, or don't nobody want dark skinned women. Like, because I had an ex like that who, I mean, the girl, I mean, when I first met her, she looked like a Brazilian, slightly darker Layla Rashawn with wavy ass long hair. You know what I'm saying? She was from Atlanta. The eyes, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Layla Rashawn pre-weight gain?
Yes. Early 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, But when she started feeling that attention slip, and for them, it's sudden for them. It's the impact is sudden. You know what I'm saying? And then she started trying to, sell, oh, don't black men don't want to marry us, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I'm like genetically, like men from all types of different groups was trying to get at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? So, but it was easier for her. It was easier for her to try to sell that narrative, like the ugly girl narrative, than the narrative that was true, which was, man, you wasted your opportunities. Because that was more the truth. Like, she wasted a lot of her opportunities, and now she had to deal with the repercussions of those bad decisions. So,
they use that as a cover up because they don't want to compete. They they don't want to accept the fact that the older they get, that there is every year a new batch of younger females that's going to get a lot of attention. So the market has always been overly saturated, and they don't get that. So instead of understand that, okay, you got to compete, and and within females, as they get older, the looks fade little by little. So that means that they have to compete a little bit more. They have to take care of themselves a little bit more and take their bodies more seriously. And what I see when it comes specifically to so-called black females in the United States, that the older they get, the lazier they become when it comes to taking care of their bodies. And then I'm just saying that in general. And then, they get older, the looks fade away at the same time. Then they want to shame men, talking about men don't like me because I'm this color. Men don't like big women. They're body shaming. It's like, come on, they're body shaming. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, well, black women, we gain weight because of the stress of society. So we're more susceptible to gaining weight because we're so stressed out. You ever heard that? I'm hearing that on social media. So it's all of these excuses to cover up the fact that a lot of females, especially a lot of so-called black females, do not want to compete. And this is a world where you have to compete for everything. Nothing's given to you. You got to earn it, and you earn it by competing.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, I think, man, I guess because I'm not really in the market, so to speak, or I mean, maybe I'm in a different market. I think that's what it is. Right?
Well, like Cali is a different beast, but I came of age in Atlanta, Georgia, so it wasn't like there was no fine chicks there. I mean, it was plenty there coming up through the 90s and things like that. But Atlanta is culturally that shit is on some Sodom and Gomorrah type shit too. So it's like, many, like, going back to the Freaknik days, like Freaknik was something that made men throughout the whole entire country, man, come to Atlanta. I mean, no matter where, like, yo, man, I gotta get to Atlanta, man. Y'all see that? You know what I mean? It was that deep. But culturally, the women are really, can be very masculine energy. I mean, I saw the difference. Like I was telling you, Complex, like the Cali chicks they just had a different air about them. You know what I'm saying? Like they was just different. You know what I'm saying? They kind of reminded me of New York, like back in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure Wacky can attest to this too. Like, man, New York chicks used to be like, man, we used to be on them chicks, man. Like when they was good, man, they was good. You know what I'm saying? Cali chicks was good like that, but they had just a different energy though. You know what I'm saying? Like their energy was just on just chill, man. Didn't trip about silly shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a chick from Atlanta could, or even from up north, because up north chicks they could trip too. But if I would have had to compare them to Atlanta chicks, for example, I would have took a chick from New York over a chick from Atlanta because there was just much more consciousness in females up north than it was in the south. So a lot of it too is just where you're from and just the energy and the vibe in the place that you're from too.
Yeah, it's interesting for me, man. Being born and raised here, pretty much, dude. Pretty much never really clicked with women from here. that's the weird thing, man. Like, it seems like every woman I've kind of gotten along with is not from here.
Oh wow, that's neat.
Yeah, is that all from like the Midwest typically? Yeah, usually like the Midwest. Minnesota, Illinois, places like that. But yeah, I always thought that was weird, man. Like, I'm born and raised here, but like, I don't know, man. Every time I dealt with like a chick from California, she was always a mess.
You know what's so funny? To respond with what Rael was saying, with us as brothers from New York, we look at it the opposite way. The way Rael looks at females from Atlanta and females from New York, we males in New York, we in reverse. The same way Rael views females from Atlanta, we New Yorkers view females from New York to be the same way. And then we have a love for Southern females. it's like it's very common that every spring and summer, brothers from New York just go and take a trip in the South. They come back to New York and talk about, man, I got a chick down there, so I'm gonna pack the rest of my stuff and move in with her, and then marry her and what have, and the whole nine. And so that's funny. It's funny. It's because I have the same thing where if I go anywhere outside of New York, I'm like a magnet to females. But when it comes to females within my own city, it's like, nah. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, man. I don't know, dude. It's like a weird thing out here, man. Like, me and Cali women don't seem to jive. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, what's up? Peace to the fam. So,
peace.
I'm from the Midwest, right? And it's funny because I have a lot of the same opinions. Because, like, from where I'm from, Chicago, man, I got tired of those chicks, dog. Like, and they're perfectly fine people. They all good. But I went to school at an HBCU in Tallahassee, Florida. And boy, let me tell you something, man. My God, man. Those Southern chicks, good God, brother. But so two things I think that brothers, two things I think brothers need to know. Because I felt that those down south women were so feminine. And that was a very attractive trait to me. But two things that brothers got to know. The first of which is, like everything else, there's levels to it, man. I tell the story a lot. I never forget the first time I walked into a gentleman's club in Atlanta. It looked like a buffet, man. And the price of beauty plummeted. Being fine is worth $50 to me, period, point blank. That's number one. Number two is, when I first went to the HBCU, this particular one, the ratio of women to men was 7-1. Every nerd was a Mac, man. Every nerd was a Mac. So, like, it becomes about more than just physical aspects or traits. And I always put it this way: Midwestern sensibilities, down south attitude, man. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I was looking for.
You said down south attitude?
Yeah, because, like, now again, this is my own perspective, old school. I'm from the Midwest, so exactly, more traditional, like more willing to submit to the man, and more feminine. Because, like, I ain't mad at go hard chicks, but it's different types of go hard. Like, I'm not trying to boo up with another Negro. Right, so don't hit me with that man energy. I'm not interested.
Yeah. I've never been a fan. I've never been a fan of that masculine shit. Yeah.
Same.
I never wanted my chick to be my boy.
what yeah,
Yeah, when
what
I went to
Paul
my
is saying, being that he's
when I
from
went to my
Chicago,
HBCU,
what Paul is saying, being that he's from Chicago, is how a lot of New Yorkers feel about women from down south. They love that traditional Southern hospitality that they get from the women from the South because I'm sure Paul could feel that about films from Chicago, films from New York. You don't see that traditional wife-like, that values that they have, the Southern values, the Southern family values that you'll see from films from the South. You don't see that within a lot of females in New York, unless if they're from an immigrant family or something. And even then, that might be 50-50 because if they were born in America, they're just as Americanized as any other female from America. You understand me? So north or in the West Coast, but in the South, you see a lot of those traditional family values within the females. At least that's what they portray, and the men from the North are in love with that.
well, I'm gonna tell you something too that I found out being at the HBCU. It's one of the things that um, if it was a better circumstances, I would have stayed. Being in the HBCU, you get a chance to be around every class of black chick in the United States. You can be in class from a chick from the Bronx, New York, to a chick from the Midwest, dad on a construction company, millionaire. I mean, you can just run the gamut. Like you could really see the difference in the mindset because I came across some really good shorties, man, from some really good family backgrounds, two parent homes, stuff like that. Being in the HBCU, like you really, I remember my freshman year, man, like our class was like 900. Man, it was 700 chicks, man. I mean, that shit was ridiculous, man. I mean, so you really do get to choose. And then some, some HBCUs are better than others. So once you start going to the more prestigious ones, man, it's even better, man. So, but even when I went to was Clark, like, man, it was some really good shorties. I just didn't like the education, but as far as the shorties, yeah, you had a plethora, man, in terms of class and socioeconomic background, man, that was very appealing to me.
I'm a college dropout, man. I got nothing on it. No, no, like seriously, man. I literally at 17, dude, I dropped out. So I never got the college experience. I got the music industry experience early on. Starting out doing street promotions and all that kind of stuff. And it was one of those things I started to learn, the sort of the tricks of the trade with chicks, you know, asking you for shit so they can like get into a place, for example, right?
Uh,
You know what I mean? They'll flirt with you to, it's like you started. I learned it like, as they say, what do they say? In the field, right? They say in the field, as they call it,
mhm.
right? Okay, I was in the field and working at the same time. Okay, so it was like doing that stuff, DJing, like promoting clubs and shit like that. Man, it's like I saw a lot, right? And then it was like, then I dealt with the 92 octane chick, right? I was in a relationship with one of those and went through all the shit that everybody hears about. Okay, and the whole point from all that is that you get, you're not supposed, like, well, I don't want this I don't give a fuck because we do other shit over here, so I don't really care. It's like, okay, yeah, you get quote unquote red pilled, but all that really is just basically like you just getting like, feeling the sting from a fucking life experience, man, that that left something lingering. Okay, ultimately it's for you to get over it and hopefully you learn from the shit and you don't repeat the shit. Okay,
Mhm.
so it was a one and done for me. I was like, okay, well, you know what, man? Yeah, she was pretty, she's cute, she's all this, whatever, whatever. But man, look, her mind was a mess. Guess what I know not to do going forward? I know not to put so much on her fucking looks, right? Because then I linked up with wifey, and it was like, okay, yeah, I'm hitting on some shit. Now I was like, dude, this the ticket right here. Like, yo, she gotta have something working upstairs, or it's a no go. I don't give a fuck how pretty she look. She no brains, it's a no go.
So let me tell you something, man. I think that every man has learned that lesson in his own way, and God help the ones that haven't, right? Like, because they getting beat up out there in the field. When I
Hey, well,
was
Paul,
a very
Paul, to
young man,
let certain brothers that out here tell it, like it's certain brothers in this quote unquote manosphere, shit, they don't like them with intelligence. That's what I'm being told. You got it.
Oh boy.
oh, but see, I think what that really reveals is it doesn't reveal anything about the women. It reveals something about the man with the preference,
There
right?
you go.
Because, like,
Correct.
think about it.
Correct.
If you have anything to lose, you got to be a fucking idiot to want a stupid woman. She'll mess up your life. She'll spend up your money and break your issue and have a whole bunch of, man. When
Just
I was a
wreck
very young
your
man,
shit.
I dated a chick. I dated a chick, found out she was an exotic dancer. No BS. So,
Oh
like,
shit.
I used to go and hang out at the club where she worked, and you could drink for free back in those days if you were a guest of the one of the girls. So I got the entire backstage pass. And talk about being red pilled, man. I haven't believed 75% of what a woman would tell me from that day on, right? Like, and it ain't like they lying. They not even lying. They being truthful. They just telling you things from their point of view. So hell yeah, like these old ass birds that ain't got the one thing that they used to have before are going to try to switch up the game because like that's what they know.
Uh-huh.
So I ain't even mad about it. Like they just get thrown in the ignore bucket with everybody else. So I think that the real secret though is to, I don't know, it's the hardest thing in the world to figure out how to do to transfer knowledge or experience. Because if these young cats had any idea, man, let me tell you, I got to the point I had two rules. Number one, under 26, I'm just not interested. They just too goofy.
No,
I ain't
yeah,
got no
no,
time for that.
no.
Number one. Number two rule was above an 8 in looks, and you had to qualify to me. I wasn't trying to qualify to you. You had to qualify to me because my experience was the nines and the tens got to be nines and tens because they're so obsessed with like their physical appearance and the way that they come across that they were usually pretty bad as partners, man, in any
Uh-huh.
way.
Yeah.
So you had to prove to me that you were, I would literally ask chicks, so what's special about you? And if it take her longer than 5 seconds to come up with something, gonzo, man.
Oh man, I remember, man. Now, mind you, see, I was in Freaknik territory, so for many of us, you know, I got introduced to Freaknik during my ninth grade year of high school, so I got to see all type of wild shit. So, and one thing about the Atlanta chicks, man, like because you have Atlanta, and then you have outskirt towns, like you have your Decatur, you have your um, your Stockbridges and things like that. But like city of Atlanta chicks, like they will try to run some game on you. And so I used to piss a lot of chicks off because I was always probing. And I used to hear, now mind you, this was from chicks when I was a teenager. Man, you ask a lot of questions. And they used to be funny. And I would always come back and say, like, how else am I supposed to know you if I don't ask you questions? Like, how am I supposed to get to know you if I don't ask you questions? But it will put them on the spot because they were used to just being able to say something, slip to a dude, and that shit worked. Nigga, it wasn't question shit. I was a complete opposite. Like, I was constantly probing them. And, but even back then, you know, you know, 15, 16, 17. 18, like their game was so on point because they're getting taught at home by a woman who running game. So at 15, 16, 17, you talking to a chick who's mentally about 45. So your shit had to be on point. And that's the problem with a lot of dudes. Like you take the average black dude at 15, he's like 8 mentally. He has no clue what the hell these chicks is up to. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the black female, just based on how fucked up the culture is, her game is at 45 years of age because she's being reared to go out there and run game. I mean, that's what she's being taught to do. You know what I'm saying? So even though she might have the looks, she doesn't have the womanly attributes necessary to actually be with a man long term. Like she's literally reared to go from dude to dude because she's being taught to live and operate like a prostitute instead of a woman that wants to be with somebody long term.
Yeah,
I can co-sign that.
That yeah,
And plus, too,
I quadruple co-sign that. That's yeah, and that's why I always, I've always stated that when it comes to the quote unquote dating and mating games, females are more reared, especially in so-called Black America. The females are more prepared than the males are because the females are, like Ross said, they're given the game from an older female, so they have the game of a 45-year or 50-year-old female. Meanwhile, the black male is being brainwashed with this lies and hogwash on all women or all females are innocent. You have to treat them like a queen, treat them like this, treat them like that, and you don't have anybody preparing them and and teaching them about how to be careful when it comes to deceitful females or unrighteous females and what have you. Yeah, but
I gotta tell you, from my own experience,
Oh,
no,
did
I was
O
gonna
cut
say
out?
that that's 1,000,000,000% true, but oh yeah, it looks like he's cutting off back and forth, Borging out.
Oh, can y'all hear me? Am I
There
good?
you go.
Oh, I got you now.
Oh, I'll be right back. All right, I'll be back. You guys hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be right back. All right.
So I'm gonna put you up on my experience. So what I have found is that the chicks that are hard in the game like that, they actually the easiest to break, because they haven't seen a couple of different things. Usually the cats that are coming at them looking for something. But if you wanted the cats to deal with them, like, number one, I'm aware of the fact that you need something from me. Like, I don't really need nothing from you, because if it don't go with you, then I mean, it'll go with the next one. It's all good. Number two is two things I used to always throw in. Number one, what's special about you? Because honestly, it gives them a chance to answer. And like, if they say something amazing, well, then move forward. You got somebody who may be amazing. If they say something generic or stupid or about their body or face, well, you know what you got there. And the second is that you just got to make it plain that, listen, man, I don't know you from a can of paint. You could be the worst thing on the face of the earth. Your mama could hate you, right? Like, so, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with you because I don't want to get stuck with a loser, man. Like, so, and that sweeps.
You
Sweeps all of that game BS.
You literally asked those questions directly?
Absolutely, without any question whatsoever. Because my whole thing is that I am not an indirect person. I'm a very direct person. And it's not a gimmick, right? Like, I'm literally just trying to figure out what's going on. And whereas a lot of people won't speak to things directly, nah, man, I'm going to cut straight through the BS. I'm going to speak to it directly, and we're going to move on past it one way or the other. And if you're the one that, so very small signs are what convince women of things. Like, you ain't trying to show them nothing on your phone. You're trying to have them not look at your phone. She wondering why the hell he don't want me up in his phone. You're not trying to display your wealth. You're not trying to show them your car. You're not trying to wear fancy clothes. Like you have on quality clothes, but they're relaxed because that's all you care about doing is relaxing yourself and being comfortable. That makes them curious about what's going on with you. So, like, cats really got the game upside down, man. Like, you ain't got to do a whole bunch to impress no female. Matter of fact, the more that you do to impress a female, the more you hurt yourself. And I can tell this from like the experience of dating a chick that was in the naked hustle. The more you came in, the more gold chains you had on, the more you threw up in the air, the more you acted out, the bigger of a gump you look like.
Mm-hmm.
But the cat that
Yeah,
sit
and
there
the more chains
with
got
a
jacked.
bottle of water.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you sitting there and you having conversations with these chicks like they human beings and you trying to find out about them, not too much, like, but you know, you're trying to find out about them as a person and you chopping back and forth on experience of life and stuff like that, man, them chicks will be asking you to choose them, man.
Well, that's why I was asking you, like, if you ask them those questions directly, because usually what I'll do is I just, I'll just talk. I'll just listen. And it's like, okay, like, so for example, like things like word choice, syntax, inference, right? How she uses language, for example, right? That tells me a lot about her intelligence. How you actually communicate is a sign of intelligence, man. Effective communication, right? So what I'll do, I'll just listen, right? And it's like if I don't really hear a lot of depth there, or if it's kind of very base, right? Like if I bring up a topic that is, it in my view is relatively interesting, but there's not much interest, in the other side in terms of what it is that's being talked about, or if there's none of that there, then I kind of just take it as a, hey, there's no compatibility here, right? And it's like it's a no harm no foul, all the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's what I much like how not all chicks are for me, I'm not for all chicks. I'll be the first to admit this shit, right? So I'm under no illusions that all these women out here should be clamoring for me. I don't believe that shit. I already know I'm not for everybody, right? I've always kind of had like a kind of like a different take on it because, you know, being like a sapio dude, things like attraction and shit always worked different. It's always been a mixed bag for me, and typically what I would find is that it would always be some sort of deal where like I know the chick, and then she kind of like secretly is crushing on me and shit. I didn't know the whole time, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like a ghost type of thing, and then it's just sort of like okay, that was weird. What the fuck? And then it comes out later, like, I was just kind of feeling some kind of way or something, and then it was just like, oh, damn, all right, I didn't know. But that's how it always is, though. It never gets anywhere because it's like, oh shit, all right. So that's always been my experience. It's always been kind of weird.
Well,
So
that was funny. What I remember um, when I was in college. I was in a political science class, and my professor, Mr. McCall, man, cool white dude. Me and him used to just go back and forth about politics in class. It was a class I was taking for the summer, and it was funny because I had about 4 chicks in the class that I was I was trying to get at, and they all sat around me. One sat in front of me, one sat behind, one sat to my left and right, and I ended up actually smashing 2 of them. But this one chick, man, she was enamored by me, man, like hard. Like we walked to the library, and she had a dude too. But she was kind of on the rocks with him, like she was thinking about like not being with him. And so
they're always on the rocks,
yeah,
thinking about not being with the dude, right?
man, yo, she was like, I'm not gonna lie. She was like, you're attractive. She's like, but I just never seen what she meant by this was she never seen a black man. She's like, I've never seen a man think the way you do. She like that turns me on more than how you look. Like she was like really really enamored with. I think she gave me the number. She was fine as a mother. Oh my god, so fine. I mean, chocolate. Oof. And it was weird because like my intelligence level scared the fuck out of her. It scared her off. she that shit scared
Dude,
her ass off. Like,
man, I've legit had a chick tell me I intimidated her.
bruh. I mean, it's real like that because it's like it just neutralized. Like it didn't matter how how beautiful she was. Like my intelligence still reigned
Yeah,
on.
this shit don't matter, dude. It
Yeah,
don't matter.
it was funny as hell. Like, and I've had numerous situations like that throughout the years. Like where women like really will get intimidated by your intelligence because they know they can't run game on you.
Right, and when they know that, like, dude, like in my, I always say, dude, beauty's a bonus. It's like, dude, like the shit that you're really trying to wield over me, I don't see much power or value or anything in it.
Uh,
Right? It's like that's how it gets neutralized. It's like, dude, calm that shit down.
right.
Like, chill the
Well,
fuck out with that. You know what I mean? It's like as soon as you can pipe down, you can turn all that shit down, right? Now let me see what's behind the mask, right? We're gonna see now. Let's see if you're worth a damn.
well, I was reading this book called "Why Women Have Sex," and it was talking about how for lack of a better term, like women get turned on by the same way a woman can get turned on by a jawline nigga, she can get turned on by a man who pays for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what a lot of dudes don't understand is like for a woman, like it's not the paying for the shit. It in her mind is like you can solve a problem. That's what that your product. It's productivity. That's why I keep telling these men like, if you want revenge, be productive. That's your greatest revenge. Because I don't care how beautiful a woman is, like she can't beat productivity. No day. She
I mean,
can't.
wait, the revenge on a woman?
Revenge in terms of a lot of these dudes in the manosphere, like they get mad because they're not chosen because they feel like they're not jawline niggas and stuff like that. It's like, no, you don't have to fight that battle.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, it's like, wait, revenge, like, okay,
No, that's how no, that's how a lot of them are thinking. Like they,
yeah,
Check
no,
this
no,
out, Complex.
that's what I'm kind of tripping on, dude. It's like that's a very weird way to kind of like
No,
walk
dude,
up.
let me tell you something.
nah, that's
I
that,
honestly
that's a
think,
real way. It's real.
I honestly think, I think that that's 75% of the dudes in the manosphere. And you're going to think I'm crazy for saying it, but I'm thinking it's 75% of the dudes in the manosphere. And I tell you why, is because of the language that they use and the stories that they cite when they talk about interactions with like women, especially black women. They got a lot of resentment, man. They angry about how they feel they've been treated in the past by women, but it's only because they never discovered the secret. Like if they had discovered the secret a long time ago, then like they wouldn't have went through all the hell that they went through.
Wait,
But
what's the
like I
secret?
never had to. Oh, the secret is that if you believe that you are the prize and you work on yourself like you're the prize, then you actually become the prize.
Oh, let
So
me ask.
there's
Let me
no
ask. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so there's no competition.
Right.
So whereas there are like a room full of dudes trying to get at one chick, that whole room full of chicks is usually trying to get at one dude.
Okay.
And if you
Wait. That's Sir Obadiah. Hold on one second. If we got a little echo, let me do the hack. Hack time. There we go. All right. We all good?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I mean, okay, so this prize thing, right? When did you guys first become hip to the prize thing?
As a man is concerned,
Well, yeah, like this no, like the concept or the notion of the idea that you're the prize. Now, here's the deal, right? I okay, what I guess I'm born alone, right? So I'm here. So I'm gonna do whatever it is that I'm gonna do because this is my life. I gotta live it, right? And whatever it is that I produce or I make or I create in this motherfucker, that's pretty much what's gonna be the sum total of my existence, right? That's whatever what my works are what I'll leave here with. That's pretty much the sum total of how this shit plays out, right? So if that's it, my focus has always been singular, man. Like go all out and do something dope before it's all said and done. Any notion of me being a prize though, I didn't really understand this type of thing or really hear about this.
Check it
Again, I
out.
guess
let me say this, um, just to answer your question. I recognized this in high school, actually,
okay.
and again, when you're in high school dealing with young females who got game like they 45, you better figure some shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, you better figure they gonna walk all over you. And so um, I would tell chicks very consistently, I'm never gonna compete for you. Never. I would tell them either you want me or you want that guy. I said, I'm cool either way, but I'm not gonna compete
Truest
for
thing
you
ever said.
because either you want me or you don't. I can go either way, but I'm not about to go out here and make a fool of myself for you. I don't have to. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And that used to put, man, that shit used to put chicks back like a mug. Like,
Dude, you know what, dude? Raw. I took it one step further, dude. If I knew there was if I knew there was I was just like, yo, have them. Then it was just like, well, you just like that. I was like, yeah, I like that. Go ahead, you got it.
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
when they see, but you got to understand, that shit scares the fuck out of chicks.
yeah,
Like, that shit scares the hell out of them.
dude. There's legit chicks, dude. Like literally, dude. Like I hung up the phone and never fucking talked to him ever again. And like I hear that it still eats him up to this day.
Yep, yep, yep. Like, they really trying to see, they trying to test you and see where your heart at. And
That's what they do.
And it's in my chest.
yeah. And when they
Yeah.
see, because the truth of the matter is, most females are cowards anyway. Like, that's the funny thing that most men don't understand. Most females are cowards.
I get that. Yeah, that's true.
They can't even they won't even tell their homegirls the truth about what they do. We're talking about their homegirls. They're besties. When men lock up, when we form brotherhoods, man, we tell each other everything. Yo, man, I did this, man. What you think about this, man? Should I did it? Nah,
Mhm.
I should have did that shit, bro. Like, no, this is how you handle this shit. This is what you need to do. Next time this shit,
Exactly.
you do it like this. So we give honest feedback because we got all the information. Women don't do that. Women don't do that at all. They do the opposite. So
Yeah, you know why they don't do that? Because they're selfish. They think about themselves 95% of the time. They're competing with each other. That's why it's a lot of them.
right, because like I was telling you in the book, Why Women Have Sex, one of the things that Dr. Buss talked about was that women, the reason why women are not as honest about their sexual history with each other is because they know that there's a possibility that if they fall out with that particular chick, that woman can reveal her sexual history, which will lower her market value.
Yeah, it's already lower at that point, but it's really competitive. That's just who
Yeah.
they are.
Yes.
Binary sense, yes, that's who they are. But if they want to be sapio, that would really put pressure on other women to try to be her, because women, they're just delicate and Not only that, they know if they have that track record. It's like what MOT said. If your track record is bad, you're finished at that point. You can't really present us anything. That's why you got some dudes want to go Sapio, then you got some dudes just don't care, and then you got some dudes that's thirsty. The majority of the other space of manosphere, that's why you see a lot of fucked up individuals in it, and they so focus on one thing, they become liabilities like the females. You can't do that. As a man, you should have to have some principle. This is what this whole live stream is about. You have to have real principle, what you really want in life, especially when you're younger. Most of them didn't get this when they were younger. This is like great information to, listen to you fellas up here. I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. There's a divide between men. There's no real brotherhood, because you can't really trust nobody on the social media thing. I mean, I've learned that from almost 9 years ago. And I learned a lot about their behavior, especially with females in real life. They think the same way. And it's sad that they mimic us. We teach them this shit. I'm like, look, you can't mimic us, because men, we can come back to the brotherhood, but they can't, because they sisterhood, like that other group coming at us, and you notice that they don't stick together. They have different ideology views. It can be about anything, like interracial stuff. It's totally different. See, when they look at interracial dating, we laugh at the white man. We don't respect him as one of our peers, but we only have a few in this space, like Savage and them. And we notice, and if you look at that live stream with Eisen, the longest live stream he had with the barbershop, him and Zero, that shows you the camaraderie of what we have, but there was no females in that panel. It was probably listening in the clouds, and it was like, damn, how can we have that? Well, you can't have that because you don't have the discipline to unify as one. I've noticed that about them. It's a lot of them. They have different views, even in the sex market. Like, no matter what size, there's no unity in the other community, the big community, like the plus size women, the skinnies, and all that. They always competing for a certain look. The facial features, just like you said, Rael. It's very competitive. That's what this country is built on. It's like race.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you good.
You're good. You're good, Wacky.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Because what was dang, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But
you on Big J.
y'all was talking about a bad track record. Rael and Serbo Yahoo, y'all mentioned the bad track record, but females, they don't even really need to be fully transparent about their past in order for a male to recognize their track record. All you need to do is sit back and observe how a female communicates with you, and it tells you a lot about their track record. You could already tell how bad her track record is just the types of conversations you have with her, just the way she behaves around you. You can tell she has a bad track record just based off that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they could try, like, females can try to disguise their past as much as they want to, but the Bible says what's hidden in dark comes to light, and that happens. It's going to be a matter of time until their true colors just show. Especially if we know how to make females feel comfortable.
Yeah, we can smell. We can smell it on them. Why you think, man? Men go to the club. Like, the reason why it's amazing, man, how this biology is, man. But the reason why men go to the club, man, is because they be trying to get fucked. That's why they go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If a woman says she's going to the club, to dance, she's bullshitting. Every month, a woman goes through a cycle. She goes through heat where she wants to procreate. That's
exactly.
So
ovulation.
Yeah. So in that book, Why Women Have Sex, he talks about this, where this is why. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not, and that's why men think about it. When you talking to your homies and it's a Friday or Saturday night, yo, what you want to do, man? I'm trying to find something to get into. What the fuck does that mean? That's a chick. Mm-hmm. You're trying to go to the club to find some chick that you can get in the club who's horny, who want to get plugged that night, in that shit. That's what it's for. The club is one big mating ritual. So the thing is that the way that women have presented the women have presented it in a way throughout years as something that you have to chase behind, when the reality is, even when you do reading on body language, even in the mating game, women always make, if they're interested in a dude, they always make the first move, even though it might be subtle. They can stroke their hair, they can pull out their mirror to check their face, they can cross their legs a certain way. All these different types of things are cues to the dude who may have entered the room, or who she entered the room and she saw, and she had immediate attraction. They actually make the first move. You know what I'm saying? It's just that men have been programmed that, they make the first move. No, you might be the first one to introduce yourself and talk to the female and pursue, but the woman is actually the first one that's making the move, which means women know what they're choosing when they choose dudes.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Facts.
but going back to what I was saying about my standpoint about being able to determine uh a bad history when it comes to these females. Another thing, well, what I would like to add on is that it's so easy for males to observe a bad track record on a female if they have true self-discipline, self-control, and stop being thirsty for some, vagina. If they practice true discipline and just control themselves and just think with the bigger brain than the other brain, all these signs, all that body language that Rael was describing will be easily apparent at the snap of a finger. And you can tell, okay, this chick gets around. Okay, this is the type of chick that gets around. This chick, she don't get around that much, but she's curious. Oh, this other chick, okay, yeah, she's right. She's right. She's the type of person. She's not that easy. You could just tell. Just if you just practice self discipline, all these signs will just be easily apparent to you. But that's why I have to say, you guys have the floor.
It's just exactly right. Wacky said you have to tell the signs based on body language, and that's how you know, like, if she wants you or not. But if she's really a ran through, you already know by the way she opens her mouth. I don't care how good she looks, she becomes a liability instantly. Now, the ones that really want you, they're usually shy and quiet. But then when you talk to them for like 15 minutes to like 2 hours, about anything, she'll open up and get what you call it, ovulating and get wet for you. But that's a normal binary standpoint that the opposite sex would do, and that's just how they operate. Now you got some that don't do that. If they're sapio, they want to test your head and what type of man you are. You got to play your cards right. So it's a different mood swing for us, but we know what we do. And the other one is trying to figure us out as our character. Now, a lot of people say they don't care. Yes, they do. They care about character in some degree. Now, the ones that don't care, they just want to be ran through. It's just the time when they're young. If we grew up with them, I noticed the difference in that since I was younger, and then I figure out why they act like that. I look back at it now. It's like, yeah, I know which one was going to be a hoe and which one was not. But that was back then. Nowadays it's like they said, "Fuck it, I don't care." That's why
Well,
the OnlyFans
nowadays,
exist.
yeah,
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 OnlyFans and social media, they don't care. And it's just sad that I'm like telling them, look, if you're gonna do this, no man will want you. But it's really sad, and I try to tell them, look, that's not the way most people would do it. But it's common, it's the norm. It's the new thing. And that's why young people are so fucked up on both sides. Sex is everything, but to me, it's overrated. You'll realize that when you get older. I mean, it's important for reproduction,
well,
not just for entertainment.
that's
Yeah,
what its original intent and purpose is
yeah,
for,
exactly,
right? Like, now humans
exactly.
derive pleasure from it, but what's happened here is that pleasure became an industry, right? Like
Yeah,
there's an industry created solely based on the pleasure that one derives from sex. Now, that in and of itself is separate from the actual purpose of sex, which is reproduction. But
exactly.
humans being humans, what
Hmm.
they decided to do was overvalue and place heavy importance on the pleasure principle. Okay.
Right.
And then when the oops part of the reproduction side of the equation happens, it's like, well, what are we gonna do? And then we're all
Yeah.
just it's a fucking mystery on
Hmm.
how do we make this whole thing work, this whole child and everything. And say, okay, well, you made the sex work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well,
Exactly.
part of
You make
it,
the
Yeah.
Exactly.
fucking
Exactly.
sex work, you make the
Facts.
rest
Yeah.
of it work.
well,
Exactly. Complex.
part of
Go
it,
ahead, Ryan.
too, is that we do have to understand that when it comes to women, they have a very short window in which they can procreate um, at the height of their sexual marketplace value, and then that window starts closing up. Men, as men get older, and especially when they get resources, man, their value is going to be increasing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
Yep.
men and women are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. They from a biological standpoint, they have to maximize it. Now, the difference is back in the ain't well, you still have this in other traditional societies. They didn't let these women be out here 25, 30 now married. Like they married them off at 17, 18, 19, 20. They're not letting them get to old age, ran through, and then talking about, well, I'm ready to settle down at 40 and have a family. Like, nah.
Well,
Like
Yeah.
I was I was
you're completely you basically blown up your opportunity, because even if you do procreate in your later years as a woman, unless you're just very healthy, which you can, but
Hmm.
we know the stats as far as obesity in this country in our group. Other than that, it's like you missed that boat, and so now you have a whole bunch of women who are stuck. I've been saying this for a long time, because if you look at it, if you do the research in these other countries, man, prostitution is legal in a lot of damn countries for a
Yeah,
specific,
it is.
because
Mhm.
every woman is not going to be marriage material. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah,
you
that's
got
what that's why I was just saying earlier with my point, because the whole concept what you just brought up, Raya, and Complex brought up, that's what my whole thing was about. What why I went on a ramble. That's what they're gonna do. Now, if you choose the right one that's gonna be smart, that's rare. She's a rare diamond. She's like 1 to 5, 15% that's actually gonna trust you. Then y'all have that build in relation like a business, whatever. That's how they last. Like, see, my parents, they almost like gonna be married 40 years and a couple more years in 2024. See, they've been married since 84. The only reason it's they're different, they're boomers now, because their mindset's different. My dad is tired for the emotional labor, similar to BGS. He's got some years on him in the boomer market because he's an auditor and everything. He don't really care at this point. And my mom doesn't either. She's like in therapy and got this job with this therapist that's in the she was in what's called the Desert Storm, but she's got different titles in her job. But she went through like 2 marriages, and she was amazed by how my mom almost still married to this guy. Well, it took discipline, and most women don't have that. Discipline is the key. This is why males don't have to rush so much.
right.
That's why we're different than them. And it's common sense. End of the day, if you don't have that, you're just not going to be qualified for his, treasure, whatever. But yeah, prostitution has been around forever. They have different names for it. Like in Italy, they called it courtesans in the Renaissance period, and then they had what you call different names for them, and they were whores back then. But then the next century, they charged them ass like you're seeing now. But OnlyFans is a joke, in my opinion. Half of the girls you done seen, at half the girls you done seen naked, it's real sad. You got to go back when you're really young, and it's like, damn, what I'm paying for, a bunch of bullshit. But I don't do it though. But I just know that a lot of them are gonna be destroyed. Some of them can do it and entertain it long enough, but when they get out of it, like we just said, the diesel period, they're finished. You can't rife these chicks, and they're so damaged. Because my last girl was damaged. She was molested at 8 years old, and she was light skinned. And it's fucked up that I can't date her again because I go back now and I'm like, no, she's through. And that's why I'm so scarred from it. But see, I'm trying to hold off because I ain't trying to risk my life over some bullshit like that. I look at my parents' marriage as an example. It's not easy, but it takes discipline. And my father showed me as an example, as a man, by watching him, like that's what he did. All right, he ain't perfect and everything, but one thing I can respect, he was honest about his actions, and that's how as a young man, and you can take bits and pieces, what you can learn from their marriage. But most of these dudes in space don't know what that's like. They don't have a father in the home. Some do, but the majority don't. And that's the big difference between men now. That's why you got males, you got boys, you got men. And this sector over here, brain trust teacher, we're just building guys to be smart, especially men. But we got smart men here, but we need smart males to be smart to be men. It's not going to be easy because it's very difficult for them to learn how this world works, because you're dealing with people with high power. You're dealing with people, no matter what dimensions in your job is, you're competing with one another, and especially our own peers. But as a team effort, if you're competing against another coalition, y'all have to be in sync. See, women don't know how to do that. They're so busy being reckless, cutting each other down, backbiting. That is a female behavior. That's their mindset. And they like, why they backbite? Because one looks better. It's sad that they try to do what we do. Now, men know how to turn that off and on. They don't have testosterone. What bothers me about the feminism and gynocracy thing, they try to use masculine tendencies. Not try to tell them that is not feminine. You're supposed to be delicate. You're supposed to be sweet. You're supposed to be nice and all that. But sometimes some ain't nice. I've learned that it's very difficult them to learn how to be that. You have to be taught that when you're young, or seeing something, or growing up and reading about being feminine. But feminine today is lost. That's why a lot of them are fucked up in that other space. And by observing by this whole space and this sector and YouTube, they're not gonna stop what they're gonna do because they're so fucking reckless. I don't let y'all have it. But
I was gonna say it could be said. I mean, it's kind of like the problem with the problem with that is that, okay, it could also be said because just a few minutes ago it was like 75% of the dudes, Paul estimated, are seeking some sort of revenge for something, right?
Well,
so that would suggest that that there's some level of fucked upness there too, right? Revenge for what, right?
Well,
like
a couple.
What?
No, I was just gonna say, go on, Complex. I'll let you.
Hey, what's going on, Black? How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
I
Go on,
stepped
Complex.
for a few minutes, man. I had to use the bathroom and stuff, so I'm just getting back myself.
Okay, I was just gonna say that.
What's up? You got to go ahead, bro. Speak on it.
Okay, I was just gonna say I wanted to get on the revenge thing. That's why I hopped on, because see, rolling it back to that, right? I think it was Raw. I have to agree with him, but I don't think it was actually revenge in the sense that we think of revenge as a man gets revenge on another man. You know what I'm saying? I think what it is it's showing that you are worthy despite the insolence that you weren't. You know what I mean? Making something of yourself. Myself personally, I grew up middle class. I was like a preppy kid, so that wasn't like all the girls wanted the bad boys, all the girls wanted the guys and the thugs and all that stuff. But, I didn't let that bother me. I made something of myself in life, and sometimes when I see my old classmates, they look awful, especially the women. They look awful. I'll be like they come up to me when I be in New York and I catch somebody in the subway. I don't recognize them like they recognize me. I'm like, I don't recognize you, bro. I'm sorry. Like, oh my God, yo, what happened to you? I be like, what happened to you? Like, they look messed up. Life has really done them in. I don't think it's revenge. Like, if somebody, if somebody hurts one of my homies, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get. I don't think it's revenge, like a violent revenge. I think it's just showing that. Yeah, I think it's just showing that you are worthy of whatever you were trying to get from that female that she was denying you, whether it was your self-confidence or respect, and you got to prove that to yourself because you owe yourself. At the end of the day, we owe ourselves as men to make something of ourselves, regardless of all the crap around us. That's what I believe.
And that's why I was I was trying to figure out the revenge, because revenge essentially infers that there's a comeuppance, right? Or some sort of retribution or something.
A comeuppance definitely.
Revenge.
Go ahead, can I say something? I'm sorry to interrupt, but in response to what Black and Films is saying, when he said it's more so about when a man is turned. No, I'm just saying it, well, in context, but he said when a male during his high school days have been turned down by a certain group of females. Now he gets older in adulthood, he made something out of himself, and that same female who turned, or the same types of females who turned him down, have been, reduced to shit. And it's like you're showing them what you're made of. My question to that is, why would you feel like you need to show something to females who are low hanging fruit?
So okay, so good point. That's a great point.
If they're low hanging fruit, you just have to acknowledge that they ain't shit and just move forward. But go ahead.
No, hold on. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, go after me, please. And I'm glad you brought that up, because what I'm gonna say is very significant to the conversation, right? So as we know, we go through different levels. Our brain goes through different levels of development, right? At that place when you're in high school, you don't have the development in your brain to, understand those emotions. All you know is a couple of emotions. One of them being what you want to say, comeuppance, revenge, showing someone. We all do it as guys. Whoever played high school sports, put bounties on cats. You do little cheap body checks. I gotta get them back for the quarter over. You know what I'm saying? It turned into a shootout or a brawl, right? That's where we at. Our development is at that point. Of course, I don't think as a grown ass man you should be like, I'm trying to be better than everybody else that I went to, college or high school, where I think there's exactly not a good perspective. But I'm saying that we need to look at ourselves at that level. Our frontal lobe development is still very basic, and that's why we can't just do that. A lot of brothers I know, I lost a couple of brothers over this, this dating thing, or being what you call I can't think of the word. The unrequited love, right? The unrequited love. They out there, they like a girl, she don't like them, they kill themselves, or they like a girl and they find out she doing the whole school, but she ain't doing them, So like where I'm from, we have a saying: a hoe is just a female that do everybody else but you. That's a hoe where I'm from. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's the hoe where I'm from. I'm sure a lot of guys can relate to that. But otherwise, I lost a lot of brothers to this stuff because they didn't have they thought about it that way. What is it? Whack world. They thought about it that way. I'm just gonna get over it. I'm gonna go on. But when you don't have a father figure, or you don't have a supportive family to boost up your self-esteem, man, you just feel like, you feel like you're worthless. You probably feel like, damn, man. And then there's so much pressure. And my last point, I don't want to detract from the topic, but, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, too, as young men about the sex thing. Hey, man, you hitting that? Ah, man, you corny. Ah, man, you ain't hit that yet. Ah, man, you doing, you know what I'm saying? We put, as young men, we put too much pressure on ourselves like that. There's so much pressure to be like, oh man, you getting the skins back. You can tell I'm dated. OPP, you know what I'm saying? The media, so much pressure on us. And I would look at my white peers, and they ain't got to deal with that shit. Their whole thing is make valedictorian, graduate with honors, get into college prep. They're not talking to each other about, hey man, you fucking Susie. But let me come around and say hi.
They're doing that also.
I mean, they fucking, but I mean, they not putting a pressure on themselves. Like if, like, come on, let's be real.
They got the peer pressure. Sorry to interrupt you. Oh no, peer pressure happens on all levels.
It does.
Beyond the racial spectrum.
It does. But let's be real here, right? And I know a lot of guys, even though we different cities, a guy can get really, bullied or beaten up if he's perceived to not be getting somewhere with a female that he's interested in, or he shows an interest in. Then this, you a gay lord, or this nigga, what's wrong with that nigga, man? Why you ain't hit my homie? All three of them hit. What's wrong with you? You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if we're gonna be real about the conversation, I've never seen that with my white peers. They do
well,
dumb
I've
shit.
never had that happen with my homies. I mean, I've never had like my homie sit up there and be like, well, he hit it and I hit it, and the other homie hit it. You ain't hit it.
Yeah.
First of all, if the homies is hitting it, I ain't hitting it.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
Fuck that.
Can
we raise the standards of the conversation back up?
Yeah, we can.
I'm not tagging the shit that my homies is tagging.
You got to realize that.
No, this is what he's saying.
There's plenty of peer pressure Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
let me say this. From the comment about the revenge, when you become productive, and that's why I use the word, because that's how a lot of men feel. But to be productive means you accomplish something. You ain't hurt anybody. You know what I'm saying? You haven't hurt yourself by becoming productive. You've actually elevated yourself. And then what you have to come to the realization is that your productivity and your accomplishments is way more important than getting ass from this chick, because as a man, you shouldn't define your manhood based on hoes. That's the point.
Right.
That's the point.
There
Yeah.
you
Paul,
go.
you want to
So
say something?
Even
two
if you want,
things.
if you want to say I want to get revenge by being successful, who's that hurting? It's not
Exactly.
hurting anybody.
No,
Two
well,
things.
You ain't hurt
well,
nobody.
okay, I'll go after Paul.
Check this
I'll
out.
respond to
You know what I'm
Rob's
saying?
statement
You
after
hurt
Paul.
nobody. Now, when it comes to
All right, so
what he
two
was talking
things.
about as far as like his white peers, what he's saying is that if you come from the valedictorian level, as far as Black America is concerned, I remember seeing this in high school with, I'm talking about goofy white dudes. I'm talking about goofy. And they could get a fly white chick. They could get a fly white chick, beautiful, nice body, all of that. Just being their goofy selves.
Yeah.
Whereas with Black males, they can't do that across the board like that. You know what I'm saying? You
So
have to be you have to be cool to do that. Now, if you're in these other groups, you can be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because in a lot of these other groups, these women value productivity over a man's looks. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
swag and all that other silly shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't matter long term. I'm not saying looks don't matter. I'm just saying that when it comes to women, looks shouldn't be the first thing on the board as far as women are concerned.
That's
But
1 to
Right.
10.
Right. Yeah.
so that's what he that's
so two
what
things.
he's like this, and he's speaking of something that's real. Um, the third leading cause of death for Black males ages 15 to 24 is suicide. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
talking about this on a Rhonda show the other day. Like, this is a real issue. Like, this is not some like nigga just mad because he can't get no pussy. Like, you're talking about men coming into major states of development, and at the time where they're entering into their genetic primes, they're taking themselves out.
Yeah.
So this is resonating. It is an issue. So he's speaking to some real shit. But he was saying that from the comparison perspective, you ain't got to be a swagged out goddamn white boy to get a fly ass fucking looking white chick, especially in high school. I saw it all the time. Like he got with Rebecca, like this big goofy motherfucker. Like,
Okay,
Yeah.
I had a different experience in high school, but Paul wants to say something, so I'll
yeah.
respond
I'm almost finished.
after Paul.
And that's what I'm saying. Like what he was saying was true. It's too much pressure. We have seen this in high school. Niggas 15, 16 years old selling dope, trying to take care of a chick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this shit. Like, that's a lot of pressure. You dude might not even
Well, he
be
put
able
that
to.
on himself, though. He put that
But
on himself.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
so that's what I'm
it.
saying. What I'm saying is that that's a lot of pressure for you to feel like you got to be producing in fucking high school as a fucking teenager to produce a lifestyle for a chick that her own goddamn family ain't producing for her ass.
Well, the whole thing is that you don't.
Thank you,
That
Complex.
that this is the part that I keep banging my head up against the wall. Like the type of expectations that okay, not only men have of women, but women have of men, and then that people have of each other. Like, dude, don't come to me, right, with some stupid ass overblown expectations that I never signed up for. I'm quickly gonna check you on it. Okay,
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
it's like
I'm not gonna live my life. Like, I'm not gonna go live my whole entire fucking life, right? Like, because there's an expectation that other people fuck them.
Thank you, complex. If a male I'm just going to use Rael's example. If a male at 15 years old is trying to is doing something illegal to provide a lifestyle to a female, he's a fucking idiot.
Exactly.
He's not. No, he's not. He's not.
And when it comes to him being an idiot, I don't feel. Hold on, Rob. When it comes to someone being an idiot, I don't feel sorry for him. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if an idiot like that feels too much pressure, weighs on his shoulders to kill himself, I'll say good riddance.
So check this out, y'all.
I don't feel sorry for dumbass people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, check it out, man.
Hold on. Let me say this. It's one thing if a 15-year-old young man, right, is doing something illegal because that's his way to take care of himself because his whatever reason his father's not around, his mother's not around, and he needs a roof over his head. He needs food to eat. So his only means of survival is to do something illegal. Now, my sympathy goes to that brother. But if some idiot is that dumb to do something illegal to provide a lifestyle for a female, he's an idiot. I don't give a fuck what happens to him. Fuck
No,
exactly.
No, what I'm saying. This is
all right. Check this out, y'all.
Hold on. Let me just say this right quick, just to respond. First of all, it's more likely that if he's 15 selling drugs, he's selling it for his mom first. Number one, he ain't going out there for a chick when he has other responsibilities. When he's told that he's the man of the house, so he's taking on a role. That's the point that I'm saying. He's taken on a provider role in which his own mom is putting him in a position to make him feel that that's his responsibility. That's only going to play out as he go out there and deal with chicks too. He's going to take on that provider role if he deals with a chick, not understanding that that's not his role. But because of his conditioning, because we know what the gynocracy is, this happens all the time. Fucking Tupac was rapping about this shit about, even though I sell rocks, it feel good putting money in your mailbox. He was talking to his mom. So if he's going to do that for his mom, that is going to play out to the females he deal with because he thinks that his role. My point is, just like he was talking about, there's a lot of pressure. That's the whole point. A 15-year-old, that's a hell of a lot of fucking pressure to be putting on a goddamn 15-year-old to be out there risking your life, risking going to jail to try to take care of your mom. But that's only going to play out even more so in his dating life. It's not like a nigga gonna be sitting there with $10,000, $15,000, and a chick he fucking with need some help. It ain't like he's not gonna help her. He's gonna only extend that shit. But the point is, he's more than likely gonna be doing that for his mother first, because that's what he's gonna be trained to do. Because if his mom get that money, she don't have any problem with taking that money. He's getting validation from his mom, even though it's dysfunctional as fuck. But he don't know that. He ain't raised himself. You know what I'm saying? So I would never, when it comes to mental health and stuff like that, especially black men, especially when we're the ones who never get to be, we never get to have mental health applied to situations for us when it really actually applies, when they can use that shit for white boys in court and shit like that. The last thing I would ever say when it comes to mental health is like, fuck black males, especially young ones. I ain't never going out like that. No.
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
let's do this. I just want to get because this is we coming up on 2.5 hours here. It's getting late over here. I wanted to kind of just get last words from everybody before we shut down. Go ahead. Oh, you got it.
Paul has something to say, so I want
Paul.
Paul
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So 2 things. First of all, is I think that you are actually both right. Number one is that the competition is the exact same with white males. The only thing is that they have access to more because they swag is what college they go into, what university degree they're going into, what job they're moving towards. Black community just simply hasn't had that same access. So they go to lower level stuff that puts them in greater danger. It doesn't make anybody a fool, but it is a mistake and a bad decision. And it will lead to consequences. And it's unfair, but a lot of life is unfair. And number 2 is that in terms of the revenge or the get back, absolutely. But see, the problem is that a lot of brothers get stuck there. And that's why I make no judgments of where anybody is at any point in time. Like to get perfect at life isn't to not make any mistakes. It's to move the hell on past them. And that's it.
No doubt. Yep, they do get stuck there. I totally agree with that.
All right,
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, let me speak, and these will be my final words. In response to a few things that Rael and Black in Films was stating, as far as the revenge factor, because Rael brought up a point that being productive means that you've made an accomplishment, which is true, which I will agree with it. And Rael says something in reference to, well, if someone used their productivity as a means of revenge, who you're hurting, you're not hurting anybody. Well, I'm not, and my response to that would be that I'm not saying you're hurting anyone, but what I'm saying is that when a person is on a certain level of accomplishment, certain level of achievements, you got to have a level of not giving a fuck when it comes to a certain type of female who did not give you a chance in the past. So what? So what? Once you're in that level, your mindset is so what? And not only that, once you get older, you have an understanding that, hey, you're more mature. Some people are not or weren't on that maturity level. Some people are not going to be. So you just have to move forward. That was always my mentality. Like with me personally, I've never been affected by a female that I liked who didn't like me back. I'm like, so what? So what? And in reference to, and then in reference to what Rael was saying about giving the example of, well, the nerdy guys in high school, well, me, like me and Paul said, the peer pressure is on all levels of different, all men within the racial spectrum when it comes to, when it comes to teenage guys, or teenage males. And, and you had the nerdy Caucasian male in high school. Me, I grew up in a mixed race high school. I went to a high school and to a middle school where it was, you had different groups of people going to school with each other. And what I saw with the so-called black nerdy males not receiving attention from females, I saw the same thing when it came to the Caucasian nerdy males and the Hispanic nerdy males and even the Asian nerdy males. It's just that what happens is that as people grow older, especially people within the other races, as they get older, they graduate from high school, go to college, become adults, they understand that the superficial mindset that they once had in high school, especially with the females of other races, they have an understanding once they become adults that the extremely superficial mindset that they had in high school is just that, superficial, and it doesn't really lead to nowhere long term. So they understand that the essence of a man is deeper than their looks and what have you. But when it comes to so-called black females, they don't have that understanding yet. As they get older, they keep that same superficial mindset or that same superficial standards in men from high school, even when they get up until damn 45, 50 years old. And it's until after 50 they actually realize what other females at 23, 24 realize. That's the only difference. But in high school, that same peer pressure that white males have to have sex, that black males had to sleep around, Caucasian males had that too. Once again, it's just that once they grow older, other races of people catch on faster than our people, unfortunately. But those are my final thoughts. Thank you for inviting me on the panel complex. Another great discussion, and you guys have a great night. Yeah.
All right, shalom, Wacky.
Shalom.
I guess I'll go. Thanks, Complex, for having me. I appreciate the conversation. Peace to the panel in the chat once again. And I, to echo some of the things that Wacky just said. I mean, for me, when I said revenge, the context that I was using it in was because we're human. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as we like to think that we don't feel shit, like, no, we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we feel shit. And if it took for you to have that mentality, like you want to prove people wrong, because this is what a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was fueled to be the greatest player because his ass got cut from his high school team twice.
Yep.
He used that shit for fuel. Now, if that's what he had to use for fuel to become that, then hey, that shit worked. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so now some people might, you know, they say he an asshole too. I would say so too, but you can't take away from the talent and the accomplishments that he accomplished. I would say that because I had this conversation with a dude I used to be cool with years ago, and I told him, I was like, I said, really, you want to get to the point? I said, it's okay, man. You know, you feel like you want to be successful, you know, to prove people wrong. I said, but ultimately, you want to be productive just because that's the shit you're supposed to be doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you should be doing instead of focusing on all this time that you've been using trying to get people's approval that hell a lot of times don't even like your ass. You know what I'm saying? And
right. They'll never approve of you.
right. But that's the context that I was saying it in. Like, because I said it like what you end up realizing is, and just like he said, he's seen some of these females years later, they weren't even looking all that hot, and then you realize like, damn, I avoided some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like because now you have your productivity, you enjoying the success of your accomplishment, and now you're looking at somebody who was hot in high school. I mean, because there's some people whose biggest glory in life was high school. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Damn, homie, back in high school, you was the man, homie.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But when you get older and you get mature and you see like, man, I was tripping off of something that really didn't matter, but that takes everybody doesn't arrive at that moment at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is it's a natural human thing for people to feel like that. You just can't carry that shit as a weight around you, like because you want to enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying? You want to be successful. You don't want to have people in your mind like, you know, your every move is based on you feeling like somebody, you know, rejected you or said you couldn't accomplish it. No, you do it because ultimately it is going to make you feel good. It's going to give you self-esteem. It's going to boost your confidence. That's what accomplishments do. The more you accomplish, the more self-esteem you have, the more confidence you bring it. So, but we have to also too, you know, keep in mind that when it comes to this mental health shit, this is something that we don't talk about. We don't address as far as Black males. Already quoted the stats as far as like the suicide rates. You know, suicide being, you know, the third leading cause of death for Black males ages 15 to 24. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's not something that we should be flipping about. You know what I'm saying? Like we got enough issues as it is. We got a lot of Black men out here dying from homicide. The last thing we need to have out here is Black men taking themselves out over something that if we talk to them about us seasoned men who have gone through the same types of shit, we just had a different response. They'll see like, oh man, this ain't really nothing. I'm just tripping. I got a different perspective because I've seen some brothers. They've gone through the same thing. They just responded differently. So it ain't no big deal. It's just normal human evolution. Shit you got to go through just to see where you stand as a man. But ultimately, it ain't gonna kill you to be rejected by a woman. You know what I'm saying? Unless you allow it to kill you, drive inside of you.
I mean, you know, look, dude. You know, like I said, I hate to come off as like an arrogant prick, but it's like, you know, you know, rejected by women, turned down for jobs. Welcome to the world, the real world. Fuck.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm saying. Yeah. It's a normal human experience. But a lot of these men who are not, see, you knew your pops. I grew up with my pops. We've seen men's side of a life experience. Many men out here, they only seen their mother's side of life's experience. They haven't seen the father persevere, and you know, they've seen their mamas crying. They haven't seen the man say, hey, it's gonna be all right, we're gonna do this, persevere, get through some tough shit, and keep pressing forward. That's not something that you just a lot of men are just like, hey, I'm just gonna do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we understand that as we go through life. Much of our life that we go through, we learn through apprenticeship. And that's what this space can offer for a lot of men. That's why y'all seen it in the brain trust space. A lot of men say, hey man, I took that information y'all gave me and I went and got this certification. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm over here, I'm making 70,000. Boom. Why? Because some men in the space did it before. They've done it. They talked about their experiences doing it, got the men excited about it. They went and researched it for themselves. They said, hey, I want to go in that direction. And then they went into the direction and got that apprenticeship from wherever they got the teaching from, and they improved. And that's what we're saying. Like, the experience is real. Just because it wasn't real for you, like that particular dude, it's real for him. But if they come and talk to us, they can see, well, yeah, we've gone through some similar stuff. We've had certain similar experiences. We've had chicks be on some shitty shit, but damn, fuck them. Yeah. This is what you need over here. You need your productivity. You can always take your productivity with you. And there are plenty of women in the world who will love a productive man. And so they can see like, oh, it's not as a big deal as I thought it was. I was making too much out of it. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
All right. See you, Sir Badayu, Paul.
I'll go. I mean, I respect everybody's viewpoints, and I know we all grew up in different grains of grass, but I'm not going to discount any one of us. It's all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about throwing any black male away or discounting any black male's challenges. And I understand teenagers, they just don't have that development yet to come to these reasons. We can come to these reasons, obviously, because we're men. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are pushing 40-ish, we're men. But you can't tell me that a 13-year-old boy who gets his heart broken, maybe catches a bunch of ridicule, he doesn't understand that yet. He's not thinking about, oh man, I'm gonna go over this tomorrow. It's gonna be better. You know what I'm saying? He's not thinking that far ahead. He's only living in the moment. He sees right there in the moment. He's I forgot, I was reading about it today. It was damn. But anyway, I'm just not about throwing any black males away, regardless of the circumstances. Whether they out here in the streets selling dirty Mexican drugs, like I like to say, or whatever foolishness they trying to do to fit in. I'm not about to throw any black males away. So that's what I have to disagree on. We need all hands on deck. We are a endangered species still, and I think we just need to have a little bit more empathy for the younger ones, because they just not developed enough yet. That's all I gotta say.
Paul?
All right, word. Thank you, man. Yeah, some of us aren't going to make it. And it's not a good thing if any of us fall behind or fall off. It's not a good thing. And yes, you are right. I think that there are some younger individuals that if you haven't lived a lot of life and gone through a lot of stuff and been rejected I've been rejected a million times, a billion times. But what happens is that once you get a little bit of age on you, it just means nothing. But if you're a 14-year-old boy and you're in a bad circumstance and you miss out on something, it's gonna hit you a lot more deeply. Those things are valid. But gentlemen, the purpose that I think that you guys serve, and the reason why I'm so honored to be a part of it, and I thank Complex for putting it on, is that what we're really doing here, I think, is bending the learning curve for these young men, because a lot of them don't know these things, and there are no resources that they have to go to. And with that, I guarantee you, over time, we become the stronger, and the strong will always dominate given time, man. So again, peace to the panel. Always a pleasure. Always an honor.
I appreciate you, Paul.
Yeah, peace, Paul. As my last closing statements, everything they said, Paul and Black Film and Wacky said, you got to get over this rejection thing. That's just human nature of people, and I've learned that at a very young age. In my early youth, I survived a lot of it, and it just made me stronger at the end after I got out of high school. I didn't go to college 4 years, and I've seen this when I moved to a city called Atlanta at the time, and back then they was reckless back then. but you had some decent ones. But now you look at the COVID thing, they really got exposed, even the young men. But now they got to learn looking at this, like these men have been through rejected multiple times. It didn't stop you from doing what was your purpose in life, how to build, your own societies or help others or brothers that's trying to reach from the stratosphere. But the whole purpose of this stream is the sapio mindset. It works for these young men if they really listen to it. This can stop you from being reckless. And one thing I learned about those streams I've been on, you have different prevalent brothers is learning like, well, damn, I didn't know I could have had this when I was young. Yeah, me, I always had that mindset. I don't let things get to me until you try me. I'm a no nonsense myself, but I know what they be on. But one thing I can agree with Paul and Black Film is, yes, you're gonna have to help the youth because they're the next generation. You got to guide them to the truth. Just be honest with them. That's the thing they looking for. They just want honesty at this
Mhm.
point. So I want to thank everybody on the panel. Peace to y'all, brothers. Shalom to Wacky. That's all I'm going to say. And great stream, great topic, complex as always. So, yeah,
Awesome,
salute
man.
to you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you,
yeah.
man. All right. I appreciate everyone for rolling through, checking us out. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a space and tech going for a little early morning live stream. We'll try to get a space and tech live stream in, and then we'll try to circle back around for an open chat. We hit 4,000 subs, so we're going to try to just have an open chat, chop it up, and say, yay, 4,000 subs. All right. So with that, y'all have a good night, and we'll check y'all out tomorrow. Peace.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Peace.